All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Zia, and welcome to Crypto Polaris. And I am sure you are super excited to be here as I am. I'm looking forward to talking about Bitcoin, why it's no longer considered a scam. And I'm going to walk you through it. And this is really for all the skeptics in the crowd. There are quite a few skeptics out there. Did you know only 14% of Americans own Bitcoin right now? Majority of you. Hopefully, some of you guys are new, and hopefully, I can give you some reasons why it is no longer considered scam. It is going to go through and has already gone through the seal of approval by the US government. And I'm going to walk you through that. But first, let's do the agenda and let's set the stage for what we will talk about. So, welcome again. I'm looking forward to having a chat with you. I've set the background in red because some of you guys are in red. So, I figure it's appropriate to do it in red. I should really, at the end, change it to orange because that's the color of Bitcoin. I'm actually wearing a Bitcoin t-shirt. You can't really see it. There's a big B on my chest in honor of doing this video. So let's get started, guys. I cannot wait to talk to you about some of the objections that I hear all the time, and I'm going to give you some responses. Hopefully that will help you understand why I am a big believer in Bitcoin, and I have been for many years, and what a lot of folks out there don't fully understand, and that's where the confusion is. So hopefully I will be your friend at the end of the day in terms of providing this educational material, and then what you choose to do on your own is your own decision. Do your own research and go from there. So we're going to talk about objections, and then I'm going to give you 10 reasons why Bitcoin is now mainstream. It's mainstream. And I'm going to tell you a few things about, did you know? I have about 4 things. I titled them, Did You Know What Bitcoin Can Do? Of course, we can't have a video without a price prediction. Yes, you saw it. The price prediction is from 1.4 million all the way up to 4.8 by year 2030 at the most. This is just my prediction, not financial advice. So let's get started. All right, objections and objections and objections. These are the 10 major objections that I hear from you guys. Okay, very first one, number 1 on the upper left-hand side. It's just a computer program or just a code. Yes, I agree. Nothing to fight about. It is a code. But as I go through this, you will understand it is a software code and it allows you to mine programmatically, solving a mathematical problem to get some rewards in the form of Bitcoin. That's really how it started. So yes, you're right. It's a software program. But guess what? Trillions and trillions of dollars are being transferred back and forth electronically. I submit to you, those paper money don't exist. They're all electronic. And by definition, it's a computer program. So let's put that aside. It's really antiquated argument, okay? Next, it's fake internet money. Well, if you study the history of money, you will learn that people used to trade in seashells. People used to trade using salt. People used to trade using coins. People used to trade using anything scarce. Then all of a sudden we became paper money. Now we use credit card. The next iteration of this is cryptocurrency. And the main one that we're talking about is Bitcoin, primarily as a store of value. Okay? What does that mean? As a store of value means this digital gold means it's a digital gold. Just like you put money in hard gold, this is a new form of digital gold. So internet fake money, that really doesn't mean anything because even if you use your credit card, even if you use ACH, you can call that fake money because there is no paper behind it. So think about this before you say it's fake money. It's too volatile. Yes, I admit to you it's too volatile because it's too early. If you ever look at the innovation curve or diffusion curve, you'll notice there are innovators, early adopters, and so on and so forth. You don't want to be the late adopter, especially when you can make a ton of money and store your value that increases. So it is volatile. Think about back in the early, or I should say late 90s, when Amazon stock dropped 99%, dropped 98%, goes back up and drops again 95%. Anything new early days are going to be volatile. So it really depends on where you are on a time horizon in terms of your retirement. If you're 70, 80, 90 years old, of course, Bitcoin is not going to be attractive to you. You've made it. Kudos to you. But I am really speaking to people that's just starting in making money early in their 20s, all the way to people probably in their mid 60s. And people who have already retired, you should think about not just leaving fiat money for your children. Yes, you can leave real estate, but take that fiat money, a percentage of that, convert that into Bitcoin, because 10, 20 years from now, that is going to be worth a lot more than, let's say, hypothetically, you left $1 million for your grandson. You bought $1 million worth of Bitcoin today, and you will see on my price prediction what that means in 10 years from now or 5 years from now. So, yes, it's volatile. You can't buy anything with it. No longer true. Go to various coffee shops, go to various electronic stores, many stores, including Tesla, will sell you a car too. Yesterday, I saw Emirates Airline accepting Bitcoin for payment, and many more that are accepting payments as Bitcoin. But by the way, do you really want to use Bitcoin as a currency? Not at this stage. It would be foolish for you to buy a car using a Bitcoin when the car depreciates the very next day and Bitcoin appreciates for next few years. So let's say you bought a Tesla for $50,000, a decent Tesla, and you paid $50,000 worth of Bitcoin. 5 years from now, that 50,000 is going to be worth probably 250,000 or could be 500,000. So not a good idea to use Bitcoin to buy something. So you need to think through this a little bit. You can use other types of money to buy a car, but I would not recommend using Bitcoin. 21 million Bitcoin limit can go up. All right, this is where a lot of people don't understand how Bitcoin is set up. Yes, it's a computer program. Yes, you can change it, but there is monetary incentive. Rule number one, 51% of the people that run the distributed network, which is over hundreds of thousands of computers run by potentially hundreds of thousands of people, 51% of them have to agree to increase it from 21 million. Who in their right mind will devalue their own money, except our federal government, of course? So it is never going to happen. Never say never, but when it's about money, no one wants to devalue. Money talks, everything else is just philosophical debate. Number 6, nothing backs it. What do you mean nothing backs it? Tell me what backs the USD. Tell me what backs the euro. Anything backs it? Nothing. And as I will show you, as this has been adopted by United States government and the President of the United States, now it is backed by US government and many other countries. Number 7, use for money laundering. This is the laughable argument that I hear all the time. The number one money laundering asset, number one money laundering is done through cash. If you understood how blockchain works, or even if you understood how Bitcoin works, every transaction is public. All they have to figure out is whose wallet is that. That's it. FBI can figure out who that is much faster than trying to chase cash. So please, this argument doesn't fly anymore, okay? This is a political argument. When you do your own homework, when you do your own research, you'll notice that for political expediency, people say these things in Congress. It's a Ponzi scheme, really. Name one. I can name hundreds of Ponzi schemes done by USD, Bernie Madoff, on and on and on. In order to do Ponzi scheme, one person or one entity has to be at the top. Well, Bitcoin by definition cannot be, because there is no CEO, there is no founder. He doesn't exist. There is no company that owns Bitcoin. Bitcoin is distributed over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of computers. All right? Number 9, it's pure speculation. Early days are always going to be speculative. It's no longer speculation. So number 9 doesn't work, because you'll see in the next chart why number 9 is not applicable anymore. Digital tulip mania. This happened in the 1400s, I believe, in Netherlands, where tulip price went all the way up to $46,000. Yes, a lot of scams, because there were no rules and regulations. As you'll see in the next slide, there are a lot of rules and regulations now. So this number 10 does not fly anymore. All right? So hopefully I've been able to address all of these 10 objections, and you will see why and how I've been able to address those 10 objections. So number 1, a lot of news. A week ago to 10 days ago, Genius Act has been put into law. This legitimizes cryptocurrency. Now you can have stable coin signed by Congress, signed into law by President Trump, that is now recognizing USDC as well as many other stable coins, which is now the on-ramp onto the cryptocurrency world, where it makes it a lot easier for one to buy any kind of cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin. That is going to bring in at least $2 to $3 trillion in next 2 to 3 years into the cryptocurrency world. That's one of the reasons why US government wanted to do that, because if you study stablecoin, they put it in the requirement for Genius Act that they must buy US treasuries. So guys, they are changing the financial systems using cryptocurrency. I hope you're waking up to the new reality. Fiat, which is the paper money, is trash. It's being deflated, or in other words, it's getting inflated in a sense. You have to pay more of those paper money to buy anything, a house, eggs, tomatoes, cucumber, car, you name it, because we have to keep printing. And number one is the first step. US government recognizes how they're going to strengthen the US dollar by enacting Genius Act. Too much information here, but I get very excited because that is a huge one. Step one is done. Step two, Clarity Act. That is past the whole Congress in terms of House of Representatives. It is in the Senate, and sometime next month, it will go to the president to sign it. Clarity Act clarifies that Bitcoin is a commodity. It is not a security. Ethereum is a commodity, not a security. Solana is a commodity, not a security. XRP is a commodity, not a security. So, majority of these things that are meaningful will be labeled as commodity. There are 18 million cryptocurrencies out there today. Did you know that? Once this law passes, 99% of those will disappear because they will be governed by SEC. And those scammers and whatnot that create all these meme coins will be disappearing really soon once the Clarity Act passes. So talk about US government backing it. Third, Anti CBDC. CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. We do not want US government to have a stable coin. Once the paper money disappears, we don't want the US government issuing central bank digital currency. We will use private sector created ones, and protection of privacy and surveillance is very important. So that's number three. That has also gone to the Senate for full vote, and it will go to Trump sometime in August. So 1, 2, 3, seal of approval. It's all legitimate now. So the argument that it's a scam doesn't stand anymore. If anything, that's a scam is USD, the paper money. All right. Number four, US Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. Back in, I believe, January, it was signed with an executive order. Now we have a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, just like gold. We have approximately 200,000 Bitcoins in there. And related to this, Cynthia Lummis, the senator, has a bill called Bitcoin Bill that is going to allow us to buy 1 million Bitcoin over the course of the next 5 years. What do you think is going to happen when there's only 21 million? Actually, not even 21 million. About 3 to 4 million are lost. And majority of the people are buying them up right now. What do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? So we'll talk about that. Tab 121. In simple words, now you can go to bank, and bank will open a checking account or savings account in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies they support. So now the banks can custody your Bitcoin. So it's been legitimized. It's no longer a scam. Number 6, upper right-hand side, ETF inflows. Well, there's 11 major ETFs that have poured in $154 billion into Bitcoin. Just Bitcoin, guys. And they hold about 1.3 million Bitcoins out of the total 21 million, minus 3 or 4 million that's already lost. Never will be found. Next, number 7, corporate treasury purchases. I should say corporate treasury purchases. What that means is now private companies and publicly traded companies are swapping out their USD cash from their checking account for Bitcoin. It's being led by MicroStrategy, publicly traded company. They own now 607,000 Bitcoin. Holy moly. They have seen something before anybody else. And because of them, hundreds and hundreds of companies are following the same MicroStrategy blueprint and buying Bitcoin like there is no tomorrow. So in total, they bought about almost 1 million Bitcoin. Number 8, US state treasury. Right now, Arizona, New Hampshire, and Texas, they put it in law that they will use state treasury up to 5% to buy Bitcoin. North Carolina is very close, and many other states are going through the process of enacting it into law. All right? Number 9, pension funds. All of these pension funds that I listed here, a few of them, not all, and many more that I did not list, they're state pension funds. They're now buying Bitcoin or indirect exposure into Bitcoin through ETFs. Okay? So that's quite interesting to keep in mind. Last but not least is nation states. Besides the United States, China, UK, Canada, Ukraine, and many of them buy Bitcoin, and they have about 500,000 Bitcoins in total right now. They haven't even started to buy, guys. US hasn't even started buying the million Bitcoin. What do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? Hopefully, I've been able to alleviate some of your questions around all the objections. I've given you 10 reasons why Bitcoin is going to keep climbing. So stay tuned for price predictions. Now, did you know? And there's 4 of these slides that I call Did You Know? Bitcoin is poised to act as both a parallel financial system. That's key. It's going to act as a parallel financial system and a catalyst for reform. Guys, as I mentioned early on, and you can read the rest, it is slowly changing from the financial system that you know. One day you're going to wake up and it is going to be in a cryptocurrency world backed by Bitcoin. It may be stablecoin backed by Bitcoin, but it is not going to be backed by USD as we know today. There will be a new form of USD that will be backed by Bitcoin. So USD will get stronger once US starts to buy Bitcoin. And it will also bring down the national debt. And I will do a different video on that. All right, so let's see. What's the next Did You Know? With the widespread Bitcoin adoption, it's going to force the feds to limit the quantitative easing. That means what? Printing more and more USD dollars. So guys, think through all of these things that I'm putting it. These are thought-provoking things for you to think about. Did you know? I already talked about this, that 1 million Bitcoin will be bought. And that will become, that's the key right here, could make it the pillar of US economic security. Guys, wake up. It is changing. I can't emphasize this enough. Last, did you know? Over time, central banks, government agencies may hold Bitcoin as strategic reserve. That is the key, as strategic reserve. All right? This is for folks who still did not believe that Bitcoin has been legitimized because you haven't followed the news. This is a good video for you to watch and rewatch to understand. All right? So now let's get to price predictions. And let me get my cursor up here so I can explain. Now, I have 3 of these spreadsheets for you, okay? This one is called average growth. Let me go to the next one, which is right here. Moderate growth looks exactly the same, but I'll explain what the differences are. The last one is aggressive growth, okay? So let's go back to the average growth first. And what I want you to understand, if you look here, this is the current supply we have right now, which is 19,898,000 already mined. It doesn't mean it exists. It's already mined. 3 to 4 million have been lost. And today's price is 119,500. I think it's almost hitting 120,000 again. So what I've done, I've got all the years. Key year to look at is 2030 and all the way up to 2035, which makes it 10 years. And I have accounted for the circulating supply going up based on mining. And let's start year 2025. Where are we going to end year 2025? It's going to increase by 75% remainder of this year, which then takes you to 209. So we start year 2026 with 209, all right? And the year 2026 will grow by 30%. So every year after that, this is a conservative 30% growth. I got this number from Michael Saylor himself. He believes this will be the average annual return on Bitcoin. So this is what I call average growth. So if you look to the right, I've got the market cap of each level. So when I end the year 2025, I'm sitting at 209. So then my market cap is 4 trillion plus, okay? 2026 is 5 trillion, all the way up to 2030, 16 trillion in market cap, which then takes my Bitcoin price to almost $600,000, okay? I hope you understood. So the key driver is the percentage of growth here. And I play with this number to show you the next one, which is the moderate one, where I then start here and I say this year is going to grow 125%, which means we're going to end the year with 268,000. And then it grows another 100%. We end that year with 527. So if you look at 2030, we're at 1.4 million. And I slowed it down quite a bit, 30% here. And that takes us to $39 trillion market cap. Okay? Now let's go to very aggressive. Anything's possible with Bitcoin. What changed here? I said this year, next year, it's going to grow by 200, then 100, then it's going to slow to 50, 50, and 30. If you follow that logic, you get to 4.8 million per token by 2030. which is $130 trillion in terms of market cap. All right, guys, I wanted to make sure that I updated my very first video where I said, is Bitcoin a scam? And since then, we've had all these rules and regulations that passed. So I wanted to make sure you understood that the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and Anti CBDC Act were all passed. And now it is a legitimate currency called Bitcoin, which is now going to be overseen by CFTC. And this is going to be very exciting. Hopefully you've enjoyed everything I had to say. Guys, if you liked everything you saw, give me a like, subscribe, turn on your notification, and let me know what you think by sending me a DM or message. And I look forward to the next video. Take care. Thank you.